set of books that I want to show you are books which are decorated in a similar way to the leather-bound ones which I showed in the first couple of videos, but these ones are bound instead with bookcloth. So bookcloth was developed in the 1820s as a cheaper method of binding books rather than using leather, and it's sturdy, it's very versatile, and it can be easily dyed, so you can have it in lots of different colours. Now, bookcloth, it turned out, you can decorate in very similar ways to the ways that you decorate leather bindings. So these are examples of bookcloth covers which have been decorated with similar kind of embossing and gilding and colours to the earlier ones which I showed you, the leather ones. So the first one I want to show you is this one. The bookcloth is a rather nice turquoise colour, and this has, similarly to the leather books, has been embossed and then gilt. So there is gold leaf gilding on the book, rather nice little dogs at the top there, which I think is very sweet. And on the spine there is the same design raised, but at the moment you can't see any gilding, although I suspect that at least the title was originally gilt too, because there's a few little bits of gilding remaining. And obviously the number that we have put on Bromley House number there. So gilding was the first method of decorating bookcloth that was invented. In the 1830s, a technique was developed that allowed book manufacturers to block gilding directly onto the covers. And at first it was just gold that could be used. Shortly after that, however, within about 10 years or so, they developed a technique that allowed them to introduce ink blocking, so they could use colours as well as gilding. And at first it was almost always black. So I've got two examples here. This one here, Stories from Virgil, as you can see, it's got the embossed blocking on the cover, and then the titles are gilt, but the pictures are done in black. So we've got gilt and black on this. And the pictures are clearly very much intended to look like kind of classical ceramic images. And the picture on the cover also ties in with the illustrations within the book, which are in a similar style. So that's rather nice with the cover linking to what's going on in the book. This is another example, very similar, similar techniques. You can see where this has been stored behind a book that was much smaller, so the edges of it have faded where the light has hit it. And this is something that we're hopefully not encountering anymore in Bromley House, because we have put some film on the windows that blocks out UV and light from coming in. But this too, as you can see, it has the title in gilt, and it has the little designs, thistles and roses, in black. Interestingly, on the back, I don't know how well this will come out. Yeah, there we go. There is another design of thistles, which is different from the thistle designs that were embossed on the front. And this one doesn't have any ink in it. So this one is just what we would call blind embossed. So it's embossing with no gilding, no ink, just straight texture onto the cover. And the final example of bookcloth covering that I wanted to show you is this rather lovely book, The English School of Painting by Ernest Chesneau. And the back of this again has a kind of blind embossing on. So you've got this design that is embossed with no colour, it's just the texture. And the design is the same as the design that's on the front, and in fact similarly on the spine too. But the design on the front and spine isn't embossed, so it's completely flat, which suggests that the design was maybe printed onto the bookcloth rather than being actually blocked on with the heat. Either way, it's very beautiful, and the technique for doing this would be later than the previous ones because it includes colour, and colour which isn't black, and colour came along later than the gilding and the black ink. Silver gilding, not gilding, that's the wrong word, embossing with silver leaf was one of the latest things to happen because it's very difficult to do and silver tarnishes very easily. This clearly has been printed or painted with a kind of grey silver colouring. It's not actual silver, but it's clearly designed to try and look like it. So all told, that makes for a very attractive book. So those are some of the techniques that could be used to decorate bookcloth in similar ways to the ways that leather was being decorated, and to give really nice and quite effective, beautiful bindings.